The Old Mill Grinds On. This story appeared November 1st, 1956, in the Saginaw News. Dateline, Oakley, Michigan. For 100 years, the Parshallburg Mill, built of massive beams, thick pine planks, and hand-wrought nails, has been using the Shiawassee River for power, with which to grind its grist and make its flour. The mill sits in a deep river cut about a mile east of the village of Oakley. The mill, dam, a handful of houses, and a closed school are all that remain today of Havana. Years ago, a promising village, now a ghost town. The exact date that an enterprising pioneer named Parshallburg dammed the river and built a grist mill on one side and a sawmill on the other side isn't known for certain. But it is generally agreed that 1856 was the year. Frank Nerchel, a veteran miller who has operated the business for the past 13 years, bought the mill from a third generation of the Parshallburg family. Nerchel enlarged the old mill, but the original sections of the base of the building still stand. The dam has changed little through the years. The mill and dam are only one of the picturesque spots in Saginaw County. For years, they have lured painters and photographers to the shaded, foamy river spanned near the mill by an old iron bridge. Farmers bring cows and other grains to the mill to be ground into... Farmers bring corn, that's more like it, and other grains to the mill to be ground into feed. Nerchel continues to make legal tender flour manufactured at the mill longer than anyone can remember. Legal tender flour, retailed commercially, is said to have been around the mill almost since the building was erected. I slowed down there because there are splits in the newspaper from age, and they're missing, and I had to figure out what the words probably were there. I apologize for that. According to legend, there was a depression in the late 1850s. Farmers were hard hit, money was scarce, and the flour actually was used as legal tender. Nerchel, who learned the milling business in his native Czechoslovakia and worked for years in Saginaw mills, operates the mill alone and, at 73, still manages to move 100-pound sacks of grain without a great deal of trouble. The flour mills located in the old end of the building are run by power from the dam, carried through a huge wheel and belts in the basement. The feed mill runs on outside electricity. Nerchel uses around 1,500 bushels of wheat a year and lesser quantities of corn and other grains. Farmers still bring in wheat and exchange it for flour. The old mill is well built of tremendous black walnut beams, 36 feet long. They are hand-hewn. Big planks of pine are held fast with the rough nails hand-wrought by a blacksmith 100+ years ago. The mill formerly used grist stones to grind the grain. They were replaced in 1889 by modern roller mills, but Nerchel still has the heavy stones. The sawmill disappeared long ago. Nerchel bought the mill in 1943 from William Parshallburg, and Nerchel now is planning to sell the business and retire, is the sole worker there. He lives in a house not far from the mill. Parshallburg, or Havana, once rivaled neighboring Oakley. There were 30 families there, a post office, general store, and a school and mill. And that's just a little look at the past of one significant milestone in Michigan. I looked down the internet, and from what I can understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that the mill doesn't exactly stand in good condition nowadays. But thanks for listening. Have a great evening, and God bless.